Saquon Barkley rising as a 27-year-old running back. I have him at 11. You have him at 8. We don't really have too much disagreement here. I'll just ask you this: what's the rationale by putting Barkley ahead of Bijan and Devon Chain? Because I think there's some people who would say that's crazy.
I'm glad you
I'm
asked.
not one of them. I'm not one of them, by the way. But I think there's some people who would say you're crazy.
I'm glad you asked. I'll answer your question with another question, Jeff Brom style. Did we or did we not have Christian McCaffrey atop of all these running backs going into this year?
Some people did. I don't think
Most people
everybody
did.
did.
Most people
Okay.
did. I would say. I would say it was very fairly consensus that CMC was still the RB1 or at least the RB2 like going into this season. I know he was on keep trade cut. Like we were not, it's revisionist history to say that we were expecting a downturn this year in Christian McCaffrey. He was the 101 consensus in redraft. And that's probably what Barkley is next year. He's probably the 101. And as long as Saquon Barkley is in an Eagles uniform in this offense, he will be my RB1, plain and simple. If I can trade Achan to get another 2 years of Saquon Barkley, I understand that there is a risk in chasing what is currently being produced, but I am hard-pressed to believe that the Eagles are going to change their identity going into these next couple of seasons with how elite their offense has looked. I know A.J. Brown's acting a diva the past couple of weeks, not getting enough targets, but we're talking about somebody who, if it weren't for a superhuman, a literal superhuman at quarterback, Saquon Barkley would probably be the MVP favorite right now. And this is, I don't care that he's 27 or 28. I really don't, because he doesn't have Achilles issues yet. He doesn't have any of these issues. I just think Saquon's an elite asset, and I enjoy winning in Dynasty. And I don't enjoy getting too cute. So I have Saquon Barkley above, and this is where we got to take rankings into perspective, because with my rankings, I don't mean that with Barkley 8, Robinson 9, H and 10, that I'm saying if you have H and you should be going out and trading for Saquon Barkley right now because he's 8 and H and's 10. No, that is not at all what my rankings are intending to show. In an ideal scenario, I would have Saquon Barkley over Achan because I think he's the better dynasty asset right now. And that's how I paint my rankings, and it's much more tier based than it is pure rankings based. So I think Saquon should be the consensus RB1 right now because he's the most valuable running back in fantasy football.
By the way, according to Keep Trade Cut, you were slightly off. He got as high as the RB3, but McCaffrey was the RB3 in August, late August. So just before the season started, but he was mostly the RB4, according to Keep Trade Cut.
Okay.
But still, now he's the RB21.
I still think in the mind's eye, a lot of people would have, if you traded.
Oh,
if you offered the Breece Hall owner going into this year, who's a competing team, CMC and Breece Hall plus a little bit, but you were probably getting that deal done.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, no argument. I mean, he was some people's RB1 in Dynasty. He wasn't mine, but that was a debate. That was a real debate. Breece Hall, I think most people had Bijan number 1, but then it was like Breece Hall, Christian McCaffrey, Jahmyr Gibbs. I think Devon Achane was outside of that conversation. But and let us know what you think in the comments of Saquon as the RB1 in Dynasty. I don't think it's crazy at all. I believe that Saquon has at least 2 good years left in him running behind this Eagles offensive line with Jalen Hurts. It just feels like a match made in heaven, and I feel stupid for not drafting Saquon Barkley in more than 2 of my high-stakes redrafts leagues. I only got him in 2 out of 5. If I would have been smart, I would have drafted him in 5 out of 5, but hindsight is everything. I don't necessarily think we have much else to talk about. I mean, I have Bijan 1, Achane 2, Barkley 3 as we get into these running backs.